Have you ever made up your mind about what definitely happened, only to find out later you were totally off? Like, were you pissed off for hours because this MFer was ignoring you? Come to find out, they actually fell asleep and their phone died. I do this all the time with my dog, imagining the most dramatic situations that her barking could be about, quickly looking around for something that I can use as a self-defense weapon, only to find out she's literally barking at the wind. Or maybe you assume someone didn't like you because they weren't saying much back to you at the party. But in reality, they were feeling super insecure and terrified of saying something wrong. They were actually overwhelmed by the fear of being judged at this family or work gathering. And maybe even they admit later that they were actually really grateful that you were kind enough to talk to them that night. We've all been there. Sometimes silence isn't rejection, it's anxious self-protection. Today we're walking hand in hand and refreshing on one of the most liberating practices I've been transformed by. Today is all about rewriting the narrative by seeing the situation from all perspectives. We're entering the first part of step 5 in the Opulence Mindset method, healing through the eyes of new truth. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's begin. You're listening to the Opulence Mindset Podcast. This is for those on the road less traveled, doing the inner work, embracing the process, and striving to live life to the fullest. I'm Chanel, your gratitude coach and loyal teammate, as we grow, heal, and evolve together. Thank you for sharing valuable time with me, and remember to wear opulence, think love. Let's take a moment to drop into the present. Be here, right now. Place your hand on your heart, taking a deep breath through your nose. Hold, 2, 1, exhale. Let the current dialogue in your mind fall away for this moment. Be here now. Inhale deeply once more. Hold. And exhale. Feel the stillness, the space behind the stories. That's where your truth lives. We are open to new understanding. We are guided by gentle curiosity. We are safe to explore what's beneath the emotional lens. Welcome to the Opulence Mindset Podcast, a space where we unlock our unlimited potential, align with our most authentic selves, and vibrate daily in abundant gratitude. I'm Chanel, your gratitude coach, here to share my healing journey and the tools that have helped me awaken to the power of appreciation. I know how much I hate being misunderstood. So why is it so hard for us to pause and consider the other person's perspective before jumping to conclusions? It's actually kind of crazy to think that we don't see life in the moment. We see life through the lens of our past, plus whatever information we've gathered from maybe research or emotional observation, really. Every interaction, every moment is filtered through our personal history. Be it childhood experiences, past relationships, traumas, fears, and beliefs. And it makes sense, right? Our primal brains are wired for survival over accuracy. Our instincts are always working in the background, scanning for anything that might be unsafe. I mean, you're going to jump before you know what the loud crash was, right? We can really only compare what's happening now to what hurt us before. It goes back to the previous conversation about associative learning and recognizing patterns. So when someone's tone feels a little off, our nervous system is gearing up and says, uh-oh, this feels a lot like that time you got yelled at. So just brace yourself. Even if it's not what's actually happening at all. Dysregulated emotions can escalate the situation quickly. That's why two people can go through the exact same situation and walk away with completely different interpretations. It's not about what actually happened. It's about what it means to us, how the experience made us feel. The historical lens isn't bad, it's just not always true. So that's why learning to pay attention to your internal dialogue and questioning your thoughts is so powerful. Because when you shift the narrator's perspective, you change the entire story. So today's episode is about learning how to take off that lens of emotional assumption by staying open and curious instead of defensive and judgmental. I'm sharing a simple but powerful tool that helped me completely reframe the stories I used to let define me. Let me start by asking you this. Can you think of a situation in your past that still causes you emotional pain right now? Maybe it's something like, they don't appreciate me. They never have. Or, he betrayed me. I can't trust anyone. Or, she never listens to me. I'm not important. Whatever it is, hold that thought in your mind. Together, we're going to question the thoughts that hurt us. And we're going to explore how truth, peace, and personal power live just beyond our initial perception. If you haven't discovered the sacred teachings of Byron Katie, I suggest you get to Googling after this. She is most known for creating the work, a simple yet powerful method of self-inquiry that helps people identify questions and release the thoughts that cause suffering. Everyone talks about the importance of shadow work, but not many tell you how to do this. Until now. This is the how. It's surprisingly simple. We can do it together right now. If possible, take out a pen and paper and write down that painful thought you were holding on to. Try to simplify it into a single sentence. And now number your page 1 through 4. Then as you write them, ask yourself these 4 questions. Number 1, is it true? Number 2, can you absolutely know that it's true? 3, how do you react or feel? In other words, what happens when you believe that thought? And 4, who would you be without that thought? And it's okay to take time. Please know that every moment you spend on doing this work is an act of self-respect. Your healing is worth the time. You're worth the time. This is powerful, life-changing self-love, and you're doing it. Okay, so then you turn the thought around. You literally flip the story and explore. Could the opposite also be true? Let's walk through this with my own real example. Literally something I'm working through right now. Sometimes multiple times a day. Because this kind of deep wound thought pattern doesn't usually shift overnight. It may take some time and repetition to calm that inner voice that keeps echoing the false narrative until we finally disprove it from every angle and let it go. So let's exercise the power of vulnerability in this safe space. Because the deep-rooted belief that I have been working to heal is the thought that my mom has never truly liked me. Question 1. Is it true? Honestly, it feels true. But is it absolutely true? I mean, she's never directly said those words to me. Question 2. Can you absolutely know it's true then? And my honest answer is no. I cannot absolutely know that the thought my mom has never truly liked me is true. I don't think that's something that she'd actually admit if I even asked. Plus, I'm basing my thought off of how she interacts with me versus my siblings. So I do not actually know that this thought is true. Question 3. How do I react when I believe this thought? It makes me really sad. And I shut down. I distance myself from her and from people that might bring her up. It's hard to talk to her in general, but especially when that thought is in the back of my mind. And I feel resentful and bitter. My pain and anger builds every time someone else's mother shows they care more about me than my own mother does. Everybody just needs their own mom sometimes, you know. Question 4. Who would I be without that thought? Without that thought, I'd be more accepting of the dynamic, maybe. Instead of shutting down, I'd stay open, more emotionally available to receive love from her and believe it's genuine. Without that thought, I'd also allow more connection. Because by doing this work, I've actually started to acknowledge more things that I do have in common with her. Without that thought, conversations wouldn't be so forced. Maybe I'd be more present and less guarded about what I share with her. I could then release resentment, and the bitterness would soften. And I'd feel more secure in my own emotions, not so quick to compare or collapse into the old pain spiral. And when someone else's mother shows love, I would no longer take it as proof of what I'm missing, and instead see it as a reminder of what love could look like. The love that I still have opportunities to receive from many other relationships, and the kind of love I want to give if I get to be a mother figure to others somehow. And without that thought, I'd have more energy to give myself the love and validation I've been waiting to receive from her. Oof. Thank you. Now for the turnaround. That last question was deep. This is when it really shifts. Here's where we gently flip the original belief and look at it from different angles. Byron Katie teaches, as you inquire into more issues and turn your judgments around, you come to see that often the stories we hold about others are actually mirrors reflecting something within ourselves. So, for example, take the thought, my mom has never really liked me, and we'll try a few turnarounds, each one offering a different lens to explore. So, for example, we'll start, I have never truly liked me. This one stings, but it's powerful. Because yes, there have been many times I have abandoned myself, judged myself, or tried to be someone else just to feel worthy of love. All while expecting my mother to show me nothing but unconditional love. Always. So could it be that the pain I'm projecting onto my mom is really rooted in the parts of me I've struggled to love unconditionally? Okay, what about I've never truly liked my mom? This one's hard to admit, but important to process. Maybe I've been holding her to expectations she never agreed to. Maybe I've been focusing on what I didn't receive, that I never allowed space to see her as another human, doing life for the first time she can remember. She is someone with her own inner child, with her own wounds, emotional limitations, and her own love language. This doesn't mean condoning her behavior, but it does mean getting honest about my own walls. All right, what if we explored this thought? My mom does like me, just in her own way. What if her version of love just didn't look like what I wanted? That would mean it did actually exist. This thought means maybe it just wasn't in the physical touch or emotional connection that I received. Maybe it was the way she showed up, embarrassingly cheering me on in her high-pitched voice from the stands, making sure our home was always beautifully decorated and clean. The pantry was always stocked with our favorite snacks. Maybe it was in how my mom always made sure we had everything we needed, even if it meant spending money she knew would lead to a fight with my dad after. And for most of my life, I'll admit I didn't see her as a strong person. Remember that I once had the belief that being over-emotional made you weak. But honestly, looking back at it now, spending my dad's money without asking, that might be the most gangster move I've ever witnessed. That's straight up savage. So then maybe she had tried to relate to me at one time, but I pushed her away because I was judging her for being inexperienced or overdramatic, while I was the one saying we had nothing in common. So I wouldn't get my feelings hurt when I felt neglected while watching her cater to every need of my younger siblings. Maybe she didn't know how to speak my love language, so she tried to speak through her actions instead. But I was too blinded by bitterness from the belief that my mom doesn't truly like me to actually notice. And maybe she straight up doesn't have the tools to fully connect to all three of her very diverse children all the time. But that doesn't erase the moments that care was given. It's very important to understand that each of these turnarounds isn't about proving your original thought wrong. It's about opening space to see the full picture. It's about loosening the grip of pain so you can move the blame to compassion, from assumption to understanding. Because so often the real truth isn't what we originally believed. And when we shift the lens, we reclaim our peace, one thought at a time. The work method invites us to look at what we're believing and see how it shapes the way we suffer. When we feel uncomfortable, emotionally heavy, anxious, and angry, it's usually not the situation itself, but what we're believing the situation to be. The mind tells a story, and we attach it as if it's the whole truth. There is no thought, no feeling, no judgment too big or too small for inquiry. Each of these turnarounds is worth exploring. And not to deny the original thought, but to explore beyond it, to soften into the understanding instead of staying stuck in the pain. And if you're not sure what thought to even start with, Byron Katie recommends an initial exercise that involves 6 sheets of paper to just get it all out. The first one is for emotions. Write the entire page of what happened and how it made you feel: sad, angry, ashamed. Another for wants. What do you wish would have happened instead? The next paper is the shoulds. What should they have done differently? Another one is for needs. What do you feel you need in order for this to be okay again? And then an evaluation page. What flaws or characteristics are you judging in the other person? And finally, your never again page. What do you fear repeating? Once you've written it all out, underline the most emotional charged thoughts. And that's where you start. Because each belief we challenge is a doorway back to peace. Each judgment is actually a prescription we've just been giving others, but always meant for us. Without the old story weighing you down, your actions become clear. And the answer is love. You don't have to force healing. You become the flow. You walk into your life lighter, wiser, more free. You're present and looking forward to the future because it's all in your control. You realize that the world and others don't need to change for you to be okay. You just need to come home to your own mind. And when you do, you become the peace you were chasing all along. So the next time a painful thought shows up, don't push it away. Don't drown in it either. Just meet it with curiosity. Ask the 4 questions. Explore the turnarounds. And watch what unfolds. Your thoughts aren't facts. They're emotional interpretations of reality. Detaching from the story doesn't mean ignoring your emotions. It means getting curious about them. Being brave enough to ask, what else could be true? When we reframe our story with love, we release the grip on the victim narrative. We find power where we once felt powerless. And that's how we reclaim our clarity. That's how we free ourselves once and for all. If you want to try Byron Katie's worksheet, I've added it to the link in the show notes. Her book is called Loving What Is, 4 questions that can change your life, with Stephen Mitchell. Or just grab a journal and start with, I am angry with blank because blank, and let it flow. But then question it. I invite you to now close your eyes if you can. Take in a deep breath and repeat after me in your mind or out loud. I am not my past. I am not my story. I am the awareness behind it. I see with clarity, and I choose peace. Let it anchor in. Your presence and input are sacred to me. Thank you for holding space for us to share this level of vulnerability. The fact that you're here means you're already stepping into your own knowing, and that we are aligned in a collective evolution. Podcasting offers a unique opportunity for deep personal connection, one that often feels more intimate than what we experience on other forms of social media. Through this platform, no matter where you are right now, no matter what timeline you're in, it's like I'm sitting right next to you, saying, hey, you're not alone. You are loved, and I want to help. Trust that the Opulence Mindset perspective shift is supporting your personal growth and well-being. To all the listeners who follow along in this journey, thank you. I cannot do this without you. The divine love in me recognizes the divine love in you. May the eternal light of this shared experience journey to the great beyond in perpetuity. Until next time, wear opulence, think love. And so it is. Amen.